trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CK gaming time. Driving trains, trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CK gaming time. Driving trains, gaining the stations, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time for CK Sim Gaming. CK Sim Gaming time. CK Sim Gaming. CK Sim Gaming. Driving through stations, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time for CK Sim Gaming.
So hello everyone, welcome to another stream back on TSW5 today on East Coastway route. I'm just trying out this mod plugin that's available. You should have the link pinned on the chat, and we're just gonna get this train sorted out. So I'm just testing out at the minute. I've got the God mode environment setting menu out as well, which will show the weather. Now it's quite cloudy in Brighton at the moment. There is some rain about as well, so it'll be interesting to see if it rains as we head towards Eastbourne or during the journeys. This plugin is a little bit buggy as well. It will sometimes crash, so it's a little bit misgiven at the minute, but I'm giving it a look to see what it's like, because it does have potential. It's quite interesting. If you want to find out more about the mod, as I said, there is info about it in the on the pinned link, so you can go check it out yourself if you are interested. Let's turn off the DSD. I think that's on. Don't want the DSD on now. Let's see. Let's open the doors. They're locked. Okay. Just bear with me. I haven't driven the 313 for a little while. Okay. I'm not going to open the doors though until it tells me to open the doors. I'll just leave the doors shut for a minute. Everyone's all waiting to get on the train. So yeah, I've just got this running because every 15 minutes or so it's supposed to check in and look at where you are, but of course I don't know exactly how it works. As I said, all the technicalities are on the link. As I said, I'm just checking it out. I did have a little play with it earlier on the Blackpool route, and it was raining in the Blackpool Preston area, and as I was driving there was rain happening in the game at the same time. Hello Egbert. Like I say, it's a little bit on the thing side at the moment, so yeah, plugin sometimes does crash, which then means that I have to come out of the game for it to work properly again. But as I said, I'm just giving it a play really, and I thought while I'm giving it a play, why don't I stream it at the same time, just so that some of you might be interested to see what it's about as well. So we're at Brighton at the moment. I've set it to more or less real time, more or less. So it should be about the same in game as what it is in reality. I was in free roam mode, so I was literally just got the first service that was going somewhere. So this one goes at 11:40 to Seaford. So we'll go to Seaford, and then I'll probably drive it back from Seaford, maybe to Lewis, and then maybe try and get on another train. But I'll probably have to restart the game a few times during the stream. But it's, as I said, it's just to have a little look at really. I'll probably do the Brighton to London probably after this. It's not going to be a long stream because it's 11:37 now, and obviously lunchtime is coming up at some point as well. So I want to try that out. Hopefully people can hear me. Yeah, it looks like the mic's working. Just don't want to be sitting here talking to myself. Nobody can hear anything I'm saying. But anyway, hopefully the pin link is there. If you're interested in having a look at this mod yourself and how it works, what you need to do. I'm not going to be here to be technical support to tell you how to install it. Everything you need to know is on that link. And any side effects you get from the game from installing the mod, well, you have to bear that in mind as well. So don't come running back to me to blame me about that either. I've just got the mod installed myself, and I'm playing it, and I'm, that's up to me, right? I've got the window up because I just want to see over time if the things like the precipitation, the wetness changes. As I said, it did change earlier when I was playing this on the Blackpool route. Right, let's lock the doors. And then we'll get going. Right, London Road is the first stop. Why are we not moving? What have I done? Have I broke the train already? Why is it not moving? Why is the train not running? Oh yeah, because I've got it in neutral CK. That would be why. That would be why it's not working. But there you go. See, nothing changes. We're already late and I've only just started. Hey, hello Katie. We'll see what happens. Let's see if it rains as we head towards Eastbourne or not. They are forecasting rain in the area around here at the minute, so it'll be interesting to see if rain actually does happen at some point. As I said, I tried Preston Blackpool a bit earlier, and it was raining there, and it was raining in the game as well, so I was going backwards and forwards. But as I said, it's a little bit temperamental, the mod, the plugin. So we'll see what happens. As I said, I might have to keep restarting the game quite often, but it doesn't take too long. But as you can see at the moment, I've got the environment settings up, and already it's putting cloudiness full on, and also the wind strength, because it is a little bit breezy. But I don't know how they measure the wind strength in TSW anyway. I mean, wind strength looks quite extreme on there, but that might only mean it's like a 20-mile-an-hour wind. I don't know what winds they have programmed into the TSW in the first place. So if it's like 40-mile-an-hour wind, it might go all the way to the right-hand side, or it might be set so that it's 20-mile-an-hour wind is on the right-hand side. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. It's quite interesting though. As I said, the plugin link is posted on the top as a pinned if you want to go check it out, what it's about. Still early days yet for this mod, so you know, it could develop into better things. It rarely snows in Blackpool. Yeah, but the temperature in Blackpool at the moment, I think it said it was 3 degrees, but it was like precipitation between Preston and Blackpool, and as I started to drive out of Preston it started raining, and then the plug-in died just when I got to Blackpool, so we'll see how it goes. Bum 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 bum. Like I say, it's just all early day. I just wanted to try it out, see what it was like. I thought, well, while I'm trying it out, why don't I just put a stream on at the same time? You can do historical weather as well, but obviously, you know, if you want the weather from 1986, I don't think it's going to work very well, because obviously that sort of data is not really readily available in an easable format. So, but obviously, I think if you want to go back to say a couple of weeks, you could do it, and then it would probably load the weather in from a couple of weeks ago. So when it was really windy, you could probably go back to that day, and it would probably be blowing a gale in the game. Well, as much as whatever reasonable wind speed they have out there. Yeah, I did notice someone posted on YouTube. If you look on YouTube about the 5th of January, there was a lot of snow in Blackpool then. Someone posted it. I went back in game to 5th of thingy, but I think it was like there was no snow, but then I think it has to be physically slowing for it to show it in game. This snow had already snowed overnight, so it was actually settled at Blackpool, so it wouldn't obviously show it, because the meta's not going to tell you if there's snow on the ground. It's just going to tell you what's going on at that specific moment. So I'd have to go back in historical weather to try and find that point when it was raining for it to then see it snow in the game. But yeah, it was that day when there was a lot of snow up north, wasn't it? Liverpool and Manchester had a lot of snow. You had snow. I think Egbert had snow. I didn't get any. Right, anyway, let's just focus on this and see what happens. So, to see what goes on. Right, we've got Millscombe coming up next. And already I'm running late. Well, not too late. Yeah, the 5th. Yeah, it was just one guy. There's a guy on YouTube that does blogs around Blackpool. I think his YouTube name is Walk on the Wild Side. He does a lot of blogs around Blackpool. What I heard about Blackpool the other day, though, was a bit worrying about the fact that they're not going to do the historical tram stuff anymore, apparently. What I read. Oh, will I be able to stop here? Because apparently it costs a lot of money and the council couldn't afford to do it or something, so it's not happening anymore or something. I don't know. Oh, did they? Oh, okay. Well, last I read was... I only read it on the day they kind of announced it, but I haven't actually read it since. So if they have done 180 on it, that's really good. Because there's a lot of people that travel to Blackpool, you know, to see those trams. So it'd have been a shame if they'd stopped doing that. Maybe it was one of those things that someone made a decision on and didn't actually think about the consequences. Oh, that guy with the teeth. I don't know. I just know he's got a beard, quite slim, probably in his, 40s, 30s, whatever. Walks around. But yeah. Anyway. Right. That was a perfect stop by me. Nothing changes. Come on then, get on the train then. You got your suitcase. Come on then. That's it. On you get. You better get on the train. You know. I've been waiting for you to get on with this suitcase. You better get on. Thank you. That's what I like to see. I was worried for a minute. I thought they were going to just stand there and just walk up the train and just troll me. You know what I mean? Right, Falmouth's next. Home of Soccer Ball Stadium. Right. Still not anything's changed with the weather, so there we go. Oh, wind strength. Didn't that just move up? I'm sure wind strength just changed. Kind of went up a little bit. Yeah, I think the wind strength did something then. As I said, I don't know what the wind strength is measured in for this game though. I don't know what that means on the gauge. I don't know if that means 50 miles an hour. I don't know if that means 10 miles an hour. I mean, I know when you put it on the full-on wind strength, it's probably the equivalent of 40 mile an hour wind or something. So I don't know. Apparently it updates every 15 minutes as well, so we'll see what happens. I do know that there's rain about though, but whether or not it's raining at that specific point, I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know. I don't know where they get the info on about where the location is you're driving at the minute, because I don't know if there's anything in the route that tells something that where you are on the game map. I mean, obviously, Flight Sim goes on about GPS positions, doesn't it? Whereas this, I don't know, if the people that make a route don't put in the coordinates, and don't know how it works. Oh, okay. Thank you, Katie. That's good. Yeah, I mean, I read about it. I think it was about 2 weeks or whenever it was. Whenever they first announced it. And, as I said, I hadn't noticed anything since. It's funny how the story comes out about it happening, but then when there's a U-turn to it, I never really saw anything that popped up about it being a U-turn. But I'm glad that it did get a U-turn. Because like I say, it was a bit of a weird decision in the first place. I mean, taking away something that brings money into the town, and then you... it didn't make sense to me. I do V2 login myself when I get back there, but there's already half a dozen people doing them. Yeah, well, you just have to think about if there's a niche that you can fit into that the others don't do. That's how I think about it. Right, does anyone want to get on?
If you require assistance at any time,
I'm just a kind driver. I'm just letting all the passengers have time to get on. Right, I think that's about it. Everyone else doesn't seem that bothered about getting on the train. Right, next stop is Lewis. I'm just hoping at some point it might start raining at some point in the game as we're going along towards Seaford. As I said, there is rain about, so I'm hoping at some point in one of the updates it'll start raining. Yeah. Wow, make a change from those, what is it, those horses and carts? Is it like them horses and them carts that look a bit like bubbles that go up and down the seafront in Blackpool? You know, them chariot things that look like they're from a Disney movie. Be a bit different, wouldn't it? Bit dangerous, yeah. ZX9, that must be quite old. Is that, I mean, is that before or after the Spectrum? Or the C5? Is it like an updated version of a ZX C5? No, it wasn't. It was called a Sinclair, wasn't it? A C5. Do you remember those? Quite funny. There was a guy that lived not far from me that used to have a C5. Used to sometimes see him ride around in it. Sinclair C5. Oh, I knew it was a motorbike. I was just pulling your leg, but yeah. And then what else was it Sinclair did? That mini TV. Do you remember? There was like that mini tiny like portable TV you could get that you could carry around with you. I can't remember what it was called though. Was it just the ZX TV or something? I don't know what it was called. I can't remember if it was black and white or colour. It might have been colour, because it might have been the world's smallest colour TV or something. I can't remember what it was marketed as. And it looked like a bit like a portable radio, but it just had like a little TV screen in it. It's funny, isn't it, now? And then we got like mobile phones that have 4K and everything on them. It's crazy. Right, anyway, we're going to Lewis. We're supposed to be there at 11:55, and already I'm about 2 minutes late. Yeah, but as I said earlier, I don't know what limits they have on. Oh, you mean Flight Sim? Sorry, yeah, I was going to say in Train Sim World, I don't know what the highest winds they have simulated, because it has a wind strength thing here, but I don't know what that means. I mean, wind strength. Does that mean like 10 mile an hour when it's that far up to the right? Does it mean 15 miles an hour? Does it mean 20 miles an hour? Don't know. Like I say, it's not like the winds get. If you put the wind strength right on the full right, it's not like the wind. The trees are really blowing a big deal on here. Anyway, so I'm just trying it out on the East Coastway, seeing what it's like. So I've just sort of picked the same sort of time of day as what it is now, and I just went to drive in game. So I just went to Brighton Station and then just got on the first train that was sort of going somewhere. This one's going to Seaford. I've done that a few times in the past, done streams with the real weather. Sometimes I've run a plane spotting stream, and then you can see planes doing go-arounds and things, if they're doing go-arounds in reality kind of thing. So the only reason I've got that screen up is just to see if it changes over time. And as I said at the beginning of the stream, the wind strength wasn't as strong as what it is now, so the wind strength's changed over time. I'm just hoping it starts to rain. Now, I did do a run earlier from Preston to Blackpool, and it was raining. As I was driving from Preston to Blackpool, it started to rain, and that was quite cool. And then as over time the rain got heavier, and then the passengers started getting their umbrellas out, and it was kind of raining in Blackpool and Preston area at the time, according to what the websites were telling me. So best thing to do though is go on somewhere like, oh, I'm going a bit fast here. Best thing to do is go on something like Vatsim when they have strong weather, because you see all these experts skidding off the runway and everything. Or using slew. Oh, I can't land, so I'll use slew to land instead. Right, anyway, we're just coming into Lewis. There is information if you want to find out about this plugin thing. You can. I've got a link pinned at the top of chat. Well, it should be pinned, and then you can check it out for yourself. As I said, I'm not here to do technical support on it, so if you need to know how to install it, there should be a video on there that shows you how to install it or where to install it. So if you want to try it out for yourself, you know, feel free, but don't come running back to me in a week's time saying your game died or your game corrupted because of me. If your game starts acting up, just do verify files. If you're on Steam, for example, or whatever. Right. How are we getting on here? Use at your own risk, basically. Right, Seaford. Look at that, we're early. Blimey. We're early. Is there anything going on over here? Sometimes we get freights that come through, or the odd rail tour type thing, but I don't know if that's happening today. I'm sure Airliners Live will be doing his Heathrow thing later. She's like standing in front of me and saying, look, hi, look, here I am. I've got a lovely red coat on today. They've definitely changed these passengers over time a little bit with the outfits they have on and all the accessories. I mean, when I first had TSW, they didn't go around with little suitcases and things. Now they've got like backpacks, all sorts of things, coffee cups, umbrellas. That was added in at some point, wasn't it? I think. Can't remember if that was TSW3 they started putting umbrellas in, so if it was raining. Are we supposed to be leaving now? It says lock the doors. What time are we supposed to be going? 12 o'clock. Yeah, that's plenty of time. Oh, that's what time it was expected. Hang on. Well, I better get going then. Right. We're running late again. Terrible behaviour. Right. New Haven Town. Be interesting to see if the freight train's in when we get to New Haven Town. Because sometimes I have this freight train that drops into near New Haven to pick up some stuff. Does that maybe once or twice a day, I think. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So yeah, probably what I'll do is I'll probably get to Lewis, not Lewis, I mean Seaford, and then I'll probably drive this as far as Lewis, and then maybe just wait at Lewis for an Eastbourne train to pop in and go to Eastbourne or something. It's a shame it doesn't show the temperature though, but I mean you can edit the temperature in the God mode thing to put in another temperature if you wanted to. But I've got no idea what the temperature is. I mean, obviously real life temperature's not that high at the minute. I think it was, well actually I think for Brighton it was about 8 degrees, which is quite good. But I mean, like Blackpool was like 3 earlier, I think it was 3, something like that. It might have been 5. somewhere else, but just like I say, I'm hoping it's just going to rain at some point in here, just so you can see the rain starting to appear and stuff. We know what the rain looks like, but I mean, it's just cool that, you know, that it picks it up and then it starts putting the rain in as you're driving around. As I said, the only thing about the plug-in at the moment, it's a little bit temperamental. Like sometimes it will crash while you're driving and then you have to quit the game to come out. But that's the only thing. But as I said, just to have a look to see what it's about, and just to get an idea what it's about. You know, it's just early days yet, but it's got potential, I think. They can get it to be more stable and not keep crashing so much. I think it might be quite an interesting thing. You know, maybe Dovetail might take an interest in the plugin themselves and maybe implement it in the game. Right, we're heading towards New Haven town, so we're not stopping at what's the station long between? I can't remember now. I should know, but I've forgotten. I think the wind strength keeps changing, I think. So when you first run the plugin, it does take about a minute to put the weather in. Well, the info. So when you first go into game, it's kind of blue skies, not much going on, and then all of a sudden after about a minute or so it'll just kick in. And then it starts working, and then I think every 15 minutes or so it kind of gets some info from somewhere. And but as I said, you know, I don't know what info it's reading. I mean, if the route's been made and the route's not telling the thing where it is, I mean, you know, if this route is telling it that it's in Edinburgh, then it will start putting the route weather in from Edinburgh or something. So I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know where I mean, I guess when they build a route they must put the coordinates in what's northwest and all that stuff, but whether they actually do it accurately, I don't know, because that's where it's going to read the info from, isn't it? You know, to know where it is. I mean, we know we're in New Haven, but is the game written so that this plugin knows that it's in New Haven? That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, because there was like, I mean, you could tell, like, because obviously if you use the Google Maps plugin on TS Classic, most of the time the railway track would line up more or less with where you were. But obviously, if you run third rails, sometimes you'd find that not everything lined up perfectly. Like on Western Main Lines, I think on third rails you'll find that you're not actually on the railway track, because I think they didn't actually use a map to line the railway up with the map. I think it was like they just kind of judged where they thought the railway line was and then kind of put it in, and which is why sometimes on third rails map the railway track goes off completely differently to how it actually is on the map, if you know what I mean. Yeah, exactly. So they probably do the same kind of thing on here of Unreal Engine. So I'm hoping that when it reads the info in about the weather information, it kind of knows, oh, well, I'm kind of here. So, you know, I don't know what the range is though. So I don't know if, for example, if at Eastbourne in New Haven it puts in the weather for New Haven, or whether or not it puts in the weather for, say, what the Eastbourne is or somewhere else. But although New Haven being a port, it probably has quite a good meta there, because obviously for the ships and the ferries and that, they have to use the port all the time. So I don't know. Oh, bit of wheel slip. Right, when we due in? We're still on time, more or less, give or take a minute. Right, there's no diesel, there's no freight train here today on the right. There might be one later. I think it's a stone train, isn't it? It pops in and then you load it up there with all that stuff. And also the way the clouds are represented is going to change depending on what route you're on, because the older TSW2 routes and the one routes, they used a different system for the way that the clouds and that were rendered. So whereas 4 and 5 routes, I think, used a different system, so their clouds look more, you know, like clouds, if you know what I mean. But I'm sure in here it's probably based on coordinates or whatever, so... Right, you getting on the train? Let's just see. No, I don't think they are they? Right. Let's head off to New Haven Harbour. It's nice that you can still drive the 313, so I'm glad that the route was made in the point of time it was, because obviously if it had been made for now, then obviously the 313s wouldn't exist again. But if you don't want to drive the 313s, the original timetable for East Coastway didn't have the 313s anyway in it, because the 313s weren't, the DLC didn't come until later, and then they made another timetable up with the 313s in it, if you wanted to have 313s to drive. Now we might have a red here, because there might already be a train that's coming up from Seaford, because it's a single track going up towards Seaford, you see, so there might already be a train that's on a bit of track on its way up, perhaps. Or it might just be one of these signals that isn't going to go green until I lock the doors up. Yeah, there's nothing down there, so I'm guessing it's just that. It's just gonna, yeah, see, of course I'd go into map mode and and there we go, the signal goes green. Or it could have been, it might have been because of the rail crossing, and then once the barriers came down it went green. Right, Bishopstone is next. I keep looking at the weather thing on the side. I'm kind of hoping it's going to start adding precipitation in at some point. You know, it's going to start to rain or something. I feel like there should be some rain coming, and I feel like I'm misleading you all. This is real weather. Part of me's thinking, I'm sure there must be some rain about. But yeah, anyway. I mean, it's been raining here, but that don't mean nothing. Oh no, that never shows that in the God mode thing, Katie. But you can edit that if you want to, but it's always best to leave it to what you set it as in the game. Because this is just the God mode menu where you can just fiddle around with these sliders if you want to yourself. And then you can enter in a date and a time in there if you want to change it afterwards. But it's not good to change it when you're in the middle of a drive, because suddenly everything, like the timetable, will get messed up around you. Hey, Throttle Junkie. Snowing here today. Oh no, it's no, it's not the mods window. It's just the window that's in God mode. It's just so I can see what's going on with the weather. So obviously, if the weather suddenly starts to rain, then this will start moving across. So that's the only reason I've got it up. I just want to see if anything's changing in game while it's going along. You know, like if it loads in something to do with something that's changing. So what you do is, how it works is that you'll get a couple more options in game in the main menu when you've got this mod running, because normally you just have custom weather and you have what's the other thing that comes up? I'm trying to think, what's the other option you have? Normally you like oh, what's it called? Oh, I'm supposed to stop here. Oop. Too busy talking. Oh dear, I might have to do a bit of reversing here. Oh dear. Oh, I've got an objective failure, it doesn't matter. See, that's one thing I liked that they added in here. Right. One thing I liked that they added in here was an objective failure, because originally with TSW, you would drive past the station and then the distance thing would just carry on going down and down and down, and you couldn't really do much to get out of it unless you were to reverse. But sometimes if there was a signal that was, you wouldn't be able to reverse back anyway, so you were kind of in limbo. She shoots, she scores. Oh, you think you caused it? Well, no, it's just ran. It's me in it. But yeah, it's just that, you know, like for example, if it reads the weather in a minute and then it says it's raining, then it will start to show on the precipitation menu. That's all. But normally in the weather, when you set up a drive, it will say custom, and then what's the other one? And there's the other option, which is the one where it just puts in its own weather as you drive. Auto, whatever it's called, you know. But you get two new options that come up with this mod. So you'll get live weather and historical weather will come up. So then you can just put it onto live weather and then it just reads the live weather. So it's a bit like how the weather in Flight Sim 2020 works. So, you know, you could be driving at 8 o'clock at night, but if you just have it set to live weather, then it's just going to basically get the weather from, you know, how it is now. Whereas historical, you can go back to the date, say January, and then you can set it to 5 o'clock, and then it should sort of read the weather from back in the past, and then put it in, if that makes sense, something like that. But I'm just on live at the moment, so it should like every 15 minutes read somewhere, and then it changes the weather in here. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's obviously working, because by default it would just not have any weather at all. It'd be blue skies if it was actually doing anything. Right. But of course, if you want snow in the game, now this is where sometimes the plugin might crash after doing things like this. So we'll just see what happens. It's a bit temperamental. Right, so the service is scheduled to start at 23. Okay, so we've got a few minutes here then, so that's right. Right, so I think we've got to put that to off, turn that off, and then I turn off the AWS. which you wouldn't really do in reality. It's just in this game you have to keep doing it. The gamulator. Right. I think that's everything. Oh, I need to put the tail lights on as well. I think I'd put the DRA on and all, wouldn't I? Maybe? No, hang on. I think so. Something like that. Right, anyway, we'll just come out of here. Yeah, look at the wind strength now. It's gone up quite a lot. You see, the wind strength's changed. But as I said, I don't think the game simulates a very high wind in here anyway. Can I close that door? This door is such a pain to shut. Come on. Trying to find the click spot for this door. It's a nightmare. But yeah, okay, the wind strength is set quite far now on the right hand side, and then we'll obviously be able to see by the trees. So you can see, it's really hard to see because the train's in the way, but let's see what the vegetation is. I mean, now it's like almost on the far right hand side, and you can see that the tree's not exactly, you know, blowing really hard. So obviously for this sim, wind strength far on the far right obviously isn't a very high wind strength. Although I think it depends on the route, because I'm sure on the Blackpool route when it was quite far to the right, the trees were moving a lot more. So maybe it's just dependent on the route as well. You know, because this is an older route. This is a TSW2 route, so maybe TSW4 or 5 route might have different properties. I don't know how it works, but you can see the grass isn't really moving much either. Oh, look, the wind strength went back down again, see? It was a little bit, sort of gone back down a bit. Yeah, it could be, and there's all sorts of things. But you can see it's moved down a little bit again. Right. Just have to... They all look happy, don't they? Aren't they a bunch of happy people? I better get in the cab over. Actually, I better get in this cab and set it all up for the return, I think. Now I'm going to close the doors because obviously all the passengers are getting cold that are already sitting in there. So let's sort that out as well. Right. Put the key in. Where's the key go again? There. Okay, and then we'll do the headlights to on. I'm just going to close the doors up. Right, headlights we'll put back onto headlights and markers. And then we'll just put the thing back on, and then I'll just pop out and have a look out. Oh, I'll just open this door again. But look at them all, they're all like ganging up on me. Like, hello. Like, what have I done? What did I do? Look at them all. Everywhere. She's got a coffee. One of them had a phone in their hand, didn't they? Didn't he have a phone in his hand? One of them did. Oh, there he is. He's got his little phone in his hand. Like I say, it's cool that over time that the passengers have sort of evolved. You know, the things they carry or the outfits and things. The only thing that I wish that you could do is I wish you could just go to a seat here and just click on it, and then you could sit down in it, you know, a bit like you can on the passenger seats. I know they can do it because obviously in the training centre you can go to some of the chairs in the training centre and you can sit on them. So I'm just surprised you can't do it normally, but 12:27 we go. We're only going to go as far as Lewis though, because I want to change at Lewis and catch a train that's going to Eastbourne. Is this version of the game any different than the last one? Yeah, they add things into it. For example, the map has changed in 5 versus 4. There's also route hopping you didn't have in 4, which is where you get 2 routes where you can get off of one route and then you can go to a marker and then you can transport to another route without actually having to go in the main menu. So like for example the 2 routes in America, Cajon Pass and is it San Bernardino, you can kind of drive along and then you can kind of get off the train and go to a marker and then you can go to the Cajon Pass route without having to exit into the menu and go back in. And then there's also things like for example, as I said, the map's different. The map shows more information on it now. So like I can click on this train and then it tells me like what's going on. They've changed a few things. I mean, there's no like huge big graphical changes as such. You know, they've added more suspension on some of the locos and things in 5. But I mean, most of it's like cosmetic stuff. Hey, Rob. But if you've got like a route that's in 2, then obviously, you know, it's not going to instantly look like a brand new route. It's still going to look the same as it did before, but it'll just maybe like some of the routes might have like the route hopping stuff enabled and stuff. Hello, Rob, how you doing? Yeah, quick travel. Like, you know, there's another one, there's obviously you can teleport to another part of the map. I mean, some of these things you could do with God mode before, but obviously it's now built into the game, so everyone, whether PC, console, whatever, can take advantage of it. Right, anyway, let's get back on the train. Got to open these doors up because everyone will be wanting to get on. Bum 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 bum. Right, let's get on then. How are you, Rob? Just doing a little bit of East Coastway today, driving up and down. Right. Let's open the doors up. There they come. They're all eager to jump on. Look at them all. They obviously don't realise I'm driving the train today. Oh, guard mode. No, I didn't mention that as well. That was another thing they kind of added. Although there was kind of snippets of that in 4 as well, wasn't there? With the scenario that was on the Glossop line. But yeah, conductor mode is another thing they added as well, where you can be a conductor if you want to. But yeah, that was you have 4 added in a really good feature what I liked, which was free roam. I really like free roam mode, where you can just plonk a train down and drive it about. It's one of my favourite modes in Train Sim World, is the free roam bit. Definitely. There's probably other things, but I just can't think of them at the minute. So this is quite an old route, this one, but it's one of my faves though, because obviously it's down my kind of part of the world, and it's got the 313 in it, which is nice to play around with. Right. There is a lot of info, you know, like if you go to the FAQs and things, and it'll tell you like what's new in 5 compared to 4 or whatever. So there is info out there that sort of tells you what's new in 5 compared to 4. Bishopstone, let's head off. Right, oh yeah, CK, put it into forward, will you? There we go. Such a noob. You'd think by now I'd know how to drive a train properly, wouldn't you? Terrible. No. What's no? What? You mean me? Yeah, well. So at least it puts in the destination for me, so I don't have to do that, because I'd end up putting something else in, like I don't know. What would I put in? Special or depot or something. Not in service. I didn't expect you to be able to drive a train. No, I meant, you know, you think about how long I've been playing Train Simulator for. You think you'd think I might have learnt a bit better. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you think how many hours I might have playing this game over time. I'm off. Just got a notification that CK's in-game is... Oh, right. You're going to watch him instead. Well, yeah. Off you go, then. You just finished CN safety training for rail crossings last week. I'm a supervisor for roadway operations for the city, so my employees have to know how to manage safety issues at crossings or working near them. Yeah, I think you do, especially in America. I mean, I always see a lot of issues with that. Was it that route in Florida? Is it Bright Light? Who's the train operator there? They always seem to have incidents with cars, don't they? And railroad crossings. Oh, got a is it Bright Line? Something like that. Oh, we're a bit fast. We're a bit hot. Will we be able to stop in time? Oh, you're in Canada? Yeah, I know, but okay. But I'm just talking about America and railroads as well and things. So that's nice. Canadian. My one member of my family lives in Canada. Right. Oh well, at least yeah. See, that counted. At least the last last. At least the last carriage people could get out. Oh dear. Well, anyway, there we are. Canadian National. I remember pictures of Canadian National when I was a kid. Used to see these pictures of these trains winding down sort of like mountainous areas, like near Banff and all these other places. That was like 80s kind of era, you know what I mean? Yeah, the big red and black ones, diesel trains, yeah. And then they had like the observation cars on the tops as well, you know, so people could sit and look out on these like top deck things. But yeah, some of my aunties and that lived in Canada. I remember when I was a kid, I went to Gatwick because one came over to visit, and it was like Wardair Canada they went with, which obviously doesn't exist at the time, but obviously in the 80s and all that, it was quite a big airline in Canada with Air Canada, etc. So I remember going to Gatwick and to see him arrive, and there was a big jumbo jet, and it was like really noisy, and I was like there holding my ears because everything was so loud. Because when I was like a toddler, my hearing was so sensitive. It was like, you know, I used to hate air shows, everything, because everything was so loud. -14 and snowing. See, the wind's picked up a bit again. Still waiting for this precipitation. Like I say, it did earlier on Blackpool Preston. I was driving around and it started to rain. Oh yeah, dynamic. That's what I was thinking of. You know, I was trying to say earlier about the weather. It was like dynamic. The options. You suddenly feel a bit warmer. Well, we need Craig to pop into chat, and then he can tell us all how it's like 40 degrees where he is or something, and he's freezing. Oh, it's a very cold day here in Australia. It's only 30 C. Like he does. Oh, I need to get my I've got my woolies on today because it's only 30 degrees. Right. Right, here we go. New Haven Harbour. That was very bad parking, but hey, at least I parked on the platform this time, which is good. Got your woolies. Yeah, I used to like woolies. Didn't we? Pick and mix. I used to like the old Woolies advert. Well, I'm not going to mention the word, because I mean we've only just had it, so let's not talk about that for another 10 months. Or at least until August, when everything starts appearing in the shops again. Oh dear. Lock the doors, it says. Right. What's that, to keep everybody in? You're all trapped. You can't escape. Right, what's next? Back to New Haven Town. How late am I? Oh, we're not actually too bad. We're only a minute late already. I like that. That's good timing. Good time keeping. But yeah, I was thinking if I knew how to drive a train properly, it'd be a bit boring watching me, wouldn't it? It'd be a bit like watching one of those like cab ride videos that people do on YouTube. Because everything's so perfect. You just watch it for the scenery. You don't expect to watch someone not go through a station properly and crash into buffers, do you? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I suppose I can see there's an appeal. I'd be a bit boring if I was too perfect. Oh, CK's boring. He didn't crash into some buffers today. CK's boring. He didn't speed through a station without stopping. I might as well just CK might as well just put a cab video on and then just leave it running, because it's the same thing. I mean, I get the appeal, you know. All right. Yeah, if we want to watch people driving freight trains in the snow, we'll watch. Oh, it's starting to rain. We'll watch. We'll watch Rail Cowgirl instead. You know, because she does Norwegian cab view videos, which are really cool. So we'll watch her instead. Because I mean, you know, what's the point? But yeah, it's starting to rain. The rain has arrived. And then over time, you'll see the wetness scale goes up as it gets more wet. Yeah, well, there are people that do stuff like that, Throttle Junkie. I mean, you know, if you want to learn about how German signalling works, you know, I mean, there's Matt Pedalston. He does his guides, how to drive with German stuff. You got was it PGT? Is it PG? He does rail guides about signalling in the UK and route guides. So if you're driving a route a lot in the UK, he'll tell you where the signals are and what aspects they are and all these other things about everything. So yeah, there is, you know, and also if you're driving a route in Train Sim World, which is modern day, and then also someone's done a real life cab video, then obviously you can use that to learn a little bit more about your route as well. I mean, route knowledge is nice. PTG, hey, PG Tips. Yes, PG Tips. Hello, Captain Andy, how are you? Good to see you. Right, anyway, let's go to South Ease. Hello, Jelly Bean. How are you? Nice to see you as well. You hum it some. Right, anyway, we're heading to South Ease. How are you, Jelly? How are you, Captain Andy? Hope you're both well. Right, we'll put the wiper on slow. One thing I'm not a tea person. I think I've said that before. I don't really drink a lot of tea. I'm just one of these people though that if I go around someone's house, right, and they don't know I drink tea, and they go, "Oh, hi, CK, I'll come in. I'll make it. I've made you a cup of tea," and you're like, and I'll like be like, "Well, okay." I'm not going to turn around and say I don't like tea, because I do like tea, but I just don't drink a lot of it. So I will happily drink it. I won't be like those old commercials on the TV years ago where the person will get the cup and then when the other person's not looking, I'll tip the tea into a plant pot or something. A bit like them coffee adverts years ago, wasn't it? About, I can't remember what coffee it was it Maxwell House or whatever it was, and and the people would sit there in disgust and put the coffee in the rubber plant or something because they didn't like it. Tepix tutorials. Right, as I said, we're heading to South East now. Whether or not we make that. The only thing I don't like about his commuter trains having such a small window. Yeah, it's a bit of definitely the. You're not the only one that says that, Throttle Junkie. There's someone else that doesn't really like these small window trains, as he says. Although I don't know if the window is that small if you're actually sitting in the cab and you've got all the, and you're using your normal eyesight and everything. I don't really know if it's really that much of an issue. I mean, Tepic, for example. I mean, these, you drive like the 387s or whatever. I mean, for you, do you think of it as a small window? Or do you prefer, like, the trains that have the bigger windows? I don't know. I mean, like the 317s and all that in the past. I mean, they used to be the same. It's all because there's a gangway here. Well, not so much on this train, but I mean on a lot of the small windows trains, it's because there's a gangway in the middle so that people have to walk through coaches and things. Oh, I just meant we were talking about the small windows. So I mean, do you sort of think of it as a small window when you're sitting there driving it, for example? Because I mean, for me, I kind of think like in reality it would probably be like more like that when you're driving, isn't it? Whereas obviously in the camera view you have to zoom in and out to see more stuff. But I'm guessing if you're actually sitting in the cab, it's kind of more like that kind of view, isn't it? Really. So I don't know. I mean, I don't mind them myself. I mean, I do like the bigger cab trains. I mean, the Class 700 I like, the HST I like, the 47. But I mean, I don't kind of like drive these trains in trains and go, oh, I don't like these small windows, I'm not going to drive this train. But, everyone's different, aren't they, really? Yeah, the 710, 720 cab. Yeah, but I think, I mean, the field of view is going to be different as well, isn't it? Because it also depends on what monitors people have got and all sorts of things. I'm going to mess this stop up again. Never mind. we might just make it. No, okay. Well, there we go. Another CK mess. I could do a bit of reversing, I suppose. Yeah, we could do a bit. We haven't done that in the stream, have we? Bit of reversing. Do a bit of reverse. Right. You still drive and just prefer a better view. Yeah, I get that. I get that as well. Off she gets. At some point, I don't know when, they'll start adding passengers, but I don't know if the passengers are based on what route this is, because I mean, although I don't know if, I think at some point they'll start having umbrellas, but I don't know if umbrellas are predominantly more routes that are to do with like when they were created. So this is a TSW2 route, so I don't know if the umbrellas are a thing for the passengers in TSW2 routes or not, or whether or not they should over time have the umbrellas. It's been raining for a little while, but I don't know. When I was playing Blackpool earlier, the passengers started turning up with umbrellas, so I guess it just might depend on the route, I suppose. No flat caps. I'm sure that'll be something they'll put in at some point, no jelly, because they do update the passengers over time. Oh wow, why am I getting a lot of wheel? Why am I getting all that wheel slip there? Oh no, it's better now. Those wheels are really slipping then. Right, anyway. As I said, I'm going to change at Lewis. Oh, we got real spin again. Wow. Have to be careful. But yeah, I'm going to change at Lewis because I want to get a train that goes towards Eastbourne. I don't know how long we'll have to wait. If we have to wait a while, I can always speed the game up a bit. Or if it's like a 5-10 minute wait, I might just say, well, I'm just going to put the kettle on, and then you can all talk amongst yourselves. And yeah, I'll just leave you to it. I like going, you know. And then I'm hoping my driver, I can equip him with a cup of coffee in his hand, just for realism. As if, but anyway, Traveller's Fair. Yeah, you can definitely see the precipitations increasing, and also the wetness. Obviously, that changes as well over time. The only small window cab that I've ever been in, it was when I was a kid, was when I went from Gatwick to Barnum in a SIG unit, and they had small windows, but I don't remember the windows being small as such. I mean, I know they had small windows, but I think when you're actually sitting there and you've got the field of view around you and everything from your own perspective and everything, it doesn't seem too bad. Trying to think what year it would have been. Probably about 84 or 85, something like that. Or 80, yeah, something like 83 maybe. I wasn't that old. I don't know what this would be like in VR though. I don't know if VR would help with the thing. So you can see the wetness is starting to get, you know, the more it rains, the more the wetness appears, and the wetness just basically runs hand in hand with precipitation, so as more rains more, then the wetness on the ground increases. Of course, if it was snowing, if the temperature was cold enough, it would just have snow instead of rain. So if it was like -1 or -2 in Brighton at the moment, or in this area, then it would just be snowing instead. I've seen I think it was Laserjet on YouTube, he did a video, and I think he was in The Flying Scotsman and he had a VR helmet on. And he was like amazed how cool it was, but anyway, we're coming into Lewis, which is where I'm gonna get off this train and see if there's another train I can catch that's going to go to Eastbourne. Oh gosh, look, I forgot about that 10-minute limit there. Very naughty. Okay, so we'll just stop here. I know I won't probably get any points for this, but I'm not really too bothered about the points. Let's just do this. Turn the AWS on, because I know the AI sometimes don't like the AWS being on. Right. I think that's everything, isn't it? I'll just leave it as is. And I'll exit. And I'll say, someone can take the train over, and then we'll leave it as that. As I stand here in the rain. Right, let's go up here and do favourites. Relinquish service. Right, here we go. Dunk. Right, there we go. He's taking over the train. I guess he's going to go in at some point. Maybe it's not time to go. I'm going to get out of here. It's chucking it down with rain here now. Now, I think I should be able to look on here, on the map, and it should tell me what time the next trains are. So we're... Let's have a look. Oh, hang on. Oh, gosh. There's a train on the other side. Quick. 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 I've got no time to wait. I think there's a train already here. Quick, out of the way, out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. Got to get the train. Oh, thank goodness for that. I just managed to jump on. Now this is something you shouldn't really do in reality. Oh no, he's driving already. Oh no. Why can't I get through there? That's weird. Normally you can run through there. Oh no. That's it. I can't get off. Oh no. Well, okay, we'll have to just when's the first stop? We'll have to wait until the first stop. I don't know why I can't run through the train though. That's really weird. I don't know why I can't go through the train. Very strange. Normally you can go through the train, so I don't know why I can't go through the train. Express to London. No, it's going the other way, Tepic. It's but yeah, if it was Brighton commuter, that would be quite hilarious, wouldn't it? Oh, sorry, Katie. I thought Tepic wrote that. No, Katie. No, we're going to Eastbourne. I'm guessing we'll have to wait for the first station, so we'll just have to sit here. Well, that's all right. It's yeah. Anyway, enjoy the scenery. Go and put the kettle on and make yourselves a cup of tea or something. Still don't know why I can't run through the train. Weird. Normally you can, so I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's a CK blocker. It's probably all these damn mods I've got installed. It's probably something mod related rather than the game. But yeah, it's not a very nice day, is it? Chucking it down with rain. But yeah, I think the next stop shouldn't be too far away. Should be about, what, 5 minutes. So I'll get off at the next stop and then I'll run into the cab and then at least can drive it to Eastbourne. see what sort of things we have around. Luckily, can't see too many of the passengers. Very bright in here. I think that's the A27. Or no, I'm sorry, the A259. I think we're going under there. Or it could be the A27. One of them anyway. I don't know. Don't live around here, so I don't know what the road network is. Fortunately, I don't have Jeff with me today, so Jeff, I can't ask Jeff and ask him what road we've just passed. I'm sure Google Maps will tell me if I looked on Google Maps at that location. But anyway. But yeah, you can see the precipitation's increasing and the wetness is almost full on to the right hand side now. So that's cool. I was hoping it was going to rain at some point because I know there's been rain about in the area, so I thought, oh, I'm hoping at some point when I'm doing my stream it's going to start raining. I don't know if it's changing the fog density in the background, or it might just depend on how heavy the rain is. It might make the background look more foggy. As I said, this is an older route, so they have a different system for the clouds and that in place compared to like the newer routes. But this is one thing I like about TSW, is like the freedom it gives you, you know, like you can just get off a train and get on another one and just sit on it, or do whatever you want to do on it and drive. Or whatever, or just, you know, if you're going to make a cup of tea and you can just sit as a passenger and let it drive for 20 minutes or whatever and then just drive again. Or if you get super bored and you get annoyed because every time you go through a siding there's always 6 wagons just sitting there and you just think, I'm fed up with them wagons sitting there, let's free roam and get a train and couple up to them wagons and drive them somewhere else. Cause chaos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although the game sometimes causes its own chaos, doesn't it? So you don't often need me to cause chaos. It can sometimes do it of its own doing. I still to this day, Tepic, have not driven the 313 and made it fly up into the air like quite a few other people managed to do. I feel like I'm missing out there. I feel like there's a hidden achievement. Make the 313 fly. I know you made it fly, I think, if I remember you saying. I know you managed to do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it might have just been something that happened when it was first released, but I've never been able to do it myself. I remember I broke it once, though, so it didn't work anymore. And then I basically got another train and then coupled up to it and pulled it somewhere. Yeah, they must have fixed it. Yeah, they probably did. Maybe it was just like in the first... Maybe it was just like when it first came out, and then after a patch or something it fixed it. Maybe you just needed to have certain conditions for it to do it as well. I almost went into orbit like MSTS days. Yeah. The only time I've ever sort of gone into orbit in Train Simulator Classic was with the Super 47 or the jet train. Because with the Super 47 you could go up to like 400 or miles an hour and go around a curve, and then up you'd go, and then you'd keep flying for about 10 minutes. You'd fly over the game world for 10 minutes before coming down again. But yeah, I was just driving on the viaduct coming into Brighton. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh yes, you were probably doing that thing on, is it London Commuter, where you get the depot run, where you go from when you go from Selhurst to Brighton, or vice versa, going the other way. I used to love that. I love the fact they added that in London Commuter. So if you had the 313, you could like take it on a long run somewhere. That was really cool. Obviously now you can do it any time you want with free roam, but obviously free roam wasn't a thing then. So it was great that they added it in as a mode, that you could do that you could take it from Lovers Lane up to Selhurst and then drive one back later on. That was really neat. Yeah, it was it's good that they did that. I think it was very good thinking by the timetable. Was it Joe? I think Joe and someone else was doing the timetables for London Commuter, if I remember. So yeah, it was a good thing on their part to plonk them in. And also let you drive the Southeastern 377, you know, come up with the story about, you know, which does happen from time to time in reality when there's engineering works on. You know, there was engineering works on, so trains from Tunbridge were going diverted via Red Hill instead, so you could then drive a 377 in Southeastern livery if you wanted. So I thought that was quite cool as well, you know, so added a little bit. And then just to have the HSTs that would pop in between Waterloo and Clapham as well, you know, because obviously sometimes if there's engineering works at Paddington, sometimes the HSTs would get diverted to Waterloo instead. So I mean, it was just good to put things in, you know, just to liven it up a bit, because there was no southwestern layers there, so you couldn't, you know, it was just to add some layers in, you know, just to add a little bit in here and there, just to make it a lot more lively. Right, we're coming up to the first station now, so hopefully I should be able to get in and drive. You can't wait for the Thomas layers. Yeah, it'd be interesting when that game comes out. I hope it sells well. I hope it does well for Dovetail, to be honest. You know, because, you know, without money in the business to keep it going, then there won't be any routes or anything, will there? So, I mean, people can complain, but at the end of the day, I think it's a good thing. And I've already said this before, so I'm not going to go over it too much again, but... Polegate, right, here we go. Let's get out the front. Right. I'm here. Emergency takeover. You can sit in first class. Well, whatever there is of first class, and you can even though first class on these is just literally the same as second class, just with like a Macassar thingy on it. Exactly. You're buying it on principle. Yeah, I probably won't get it myself because I'm not really a Thomas the Tank Engine thing. But if I had children, just perish the thought, you know, or I had a nephew that was quite young or whatever, and he was into like trains or whatever, I'd probably get it so that whenever he popped round, I could say, "Oh, let's you can play Thomas if you want," and then he could drive Thomas or whatever. But you know, for me personally, I won't be too bothered about it. But yeah. You're a big child. Well, that's cool. Anyway. There we are. Right, anyway, we should go. I think we're at Polegate, so I think we're just going to run fast to Eastbourne now. What do you mean, have children? You have Eggy. Well, I don't really think of you lot as children. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm sure there's, you know, I'm sure it's probably the other way round. Right. Dad is dishonest. Oh, don't you start. You sound like a character from Second Life. They used to be like that. They used to call me Daddy. Jeez. Don't want all that in game. Don't want it all here and all. Eggy and Grandma. Right. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying nothing. Oh dear. Right. I think it's thunder and lightning outside. No, only joking. Right. Can we go? I think we can, can't we? Do you know what? I've forgotten how these go as well now. Right, anyway. Forgot about me safety stuff. I had to just enable it again. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with this little mod so far. I'm surprised it hasn't actually crashed on me since I've been playing this actually, because it had been earlier on. Like I say, it is a little bit unstable at the minute. It seems to have been behaving itself so far during the stream. So maybe that's just, maybe I'm gonna probably what's the word? Probably not gonna do myself any favours in a minute, because it'll probably decide to thingy. It's unstable but fun. What we're driving? I know what you mean. The mod. Yeah, it seems alright at the minute. The thing is though, if it does crash, it's normally the plug-in that crashes, and then unless you actually if you don't close the box down that comes up, the game still runs, but obviously I think the mod stops running. But if you want the mod to work again, you have to reload the game. But it's really interesting though. I quite think it's quite cool really what it's doing, because I've gone on about this before in streams, haven't I, saying, you know, it'd be really cool if one day, you know, like Train Sim World or something has like a real live weather option or something. So, or even, you know, or even like or historical weather or whatever. But we had a tornado, did you? Blimey. I remember when we had a tornado where we lived a few years back. I mean, it wasn't a powerful tornado if you compare it to, say, American ones, but I mean, it was still enough to basically destroy loads of roofs of houses and take tiles off roofs, and I think it was like the equivalent of an F1 tornado, I think it was. And then there was one a bit further on down the coast at Selsey Bill where Patrick Moore used to live. So yeah, where I live, we've had a couple of tornadoes over time. But I mean, I think even like an F1 tornado, the winds at the time, even though I think it lasted about half a minute, I think the winds in an F1 are still like 140, 150 mile an hour, aren't they, or something? So it was like a hurricane, basically, just in 30 seconds, like a condensed 30 second long hurricane, or whatever you want to call it. Damaged roofs. Yeah. Am I supposed to stop here? Why is everything... Oh, hang on a minute. What's happened? Have I done something wrong? I don't know what I'm doing. Where's the thing gone? Normally there's like a thing at the top. Where did that go? I'm confused. Help. Oh. Was I supposed to... No. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I can't watch my stream back to see what's going on. When did that... Was there birds there as well? Maybe they've been there and I've never noticed them before. Right, anyway, I'm just carrying on to Eastbourne. Oh, it might be because I just took over this... No, I don't know what I did. No idea what I've done. It normally tells you at the top, like next stop is Eastbourne, and I'm confused. Oh, never mind, CK. Right. We'll just drive it to Eastbourne anyway, and then I'm going to get off. I've got to end the stream now anyway, once I get to Eastbourne, because I've got to go and have some lunch, so... But thanks for joining me as I check out this little weather mod thing, as we drove from Brighton to Seaford, and Seaford back to Lewes, and then Lewes to Eastbourne. Will I be streaming again this afternoon? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But I hope you've enjoyed the journey. And as I said, the mod is pinned on the top there, so if you want to check it out yourself, go, feel free. As I said, I'm not going to be telling you what to do. Obviously, you know, if you decide to install it, you do so at your own risk. If you want to check it out for yourselves, go, feel free. There is a video on that page that kind of tells you what folders you're supposed to put things in, so might be quite helpful to watch the video. Although that, I think the video is based on the Steam version, so if you've got another version like Epic and that, it might be, the files might have to go in a different place, but again, it's up to you whether you want to install it. But please don't come running in my stream in a week and crying that, you know, I've broke your PC, I've broke your I've broke your trade sim, because I'll just say, well, it was really up to you. I'm just playing it, and you can sort of see what it kind of does, and it kind of puts the weather in as you're driving, which is kind of cool. But whatever you decide to do is up to you. I'm not here to tell you to install it or whatever. You can just do. You can decide for yourself. I think it's quite a neat little thing, and I will definitely be playing it a little bit more in streams if I'm doing streams based on like driving on the time of year and the month. You know, so because that's how I like to drive in train sim anyway. I mean, sometimes I might go back to an earlier month. For example, on Blackpool, there's a lot more summer trains that run in the, you know, in the summertime, obviously, compared to now. So it's good to sometimes run that, or sometimes it might be that, you know, I just fancy running, you know, like if I want to drive them railhead treatment trains, and you can only run them at a certain time of year, then you have to set the months for a different month to get them to show up. But most of the time I just like to sort of like drive on the day that it is in reality. So live weather for me is quite cool. God, I'm not going to hit the buffers, am I? Bing! Wow, that's just like slotted in pretty well there. Welcome back, Jelly. Unfortunately, I'm just finishing now. As I said, I've got to go and have some lunchy now. But there we go. We arrived at here. Oh, better get off the train, because obviously it's going to be carrying on its journey. So let's just sort that out. Let's get that sorted out. Probably doing everything in the wrong order, but there you go. That's me completely. Right. off. I think we'll put tail lights on. I suppose the tail lights are sharp now. Oh yeah, better turn the safety things off because I don't want the AI to get confused. Yeah, no worries, Jelly. I might be back this afternoon though, carrying on, but I'm not too sure yet. It'll be what it will be. I think we're running a bit late. Anyway, let's just put this back on to relinquish service. And yeah, but it's quite interesting though. But yeah, I don't know if the umbrellas are a thing in a TSW2 route, because as I said, I've not seen any people holding umbrellas, so I'm wondering if it's just a TSW3 or a 4 route or a 5 route that has the people with the umbrellas. Oh look, there's a 700 over there. Check that out. 700 in the depot. See, I wonder when you can drive that. It will tell you when you can drive the 700. Well, and if it doesn't, then obviously that's a free roam for the future, because I'll just hijack it. I'll just hijack it. So this is an extra bit of CK chaos. I think it does CK. Yeah, I know that there's I don't know what time it goes though. It'd be interesting to see on the timetable. Normally you can just click on it and it'll tell you when you go and sit on the driving cab what time it's going to be going. No, it's free. I could drive it now. Interesting. Well, anyway, that's for another time. I could hijack this train and drive it to Brighton and park it in the depot, couldn't I? But that's for another time, another stream. But anyway, I'm going to disappear now, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right, anyway, I'm going to say ta-ta for now. Thanks for watching, everybody, and from a very wet Eastbourne, I shall say ta-ta for now. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Trains, trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CK gaming time. Driving trains, trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CK gaming time. Trains, taking the stations, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time for CK, 7 gaming.